Ladies and gentlemen, today we stand at the crossroads of two paths, one of mere survival, filled with struggle, scarcity, and limitation, and another of true thriving, where abundance, freedom, and unlimited wealth flow effortlessly into our lives. Inspired by the timeless wisdom of Dr. Joseph Murphy, we are about to make THE-MU-EL-THCFT. It's time to stop surviving and start thriving, because the infinite riches of the universe are already within you, waiting to be unlocked through the power of your subconscious mind. Get ready to transform your thinking, claim your divine prosperity, go and step into the abundant life you were born to live. Your subconscious mind is like a bank, a universal financial institution that magnifies whatever you deposit or impress upon it, whether it is the idea of wealth or of poverty. This profound truth, drawn from the timeless wisdom of Dr. Joseph Murphy, reveals that the key to unlimited riches lies not in external hustle or endless grinding, but in the silent, powerful operations of your deeper mind. Think about it. Every financial condition you experience today is the direct outgrowth of seeds planted in that inner bank through your repeated thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. If you have been depositing thoughts of lack, limitation, struggle, and I can't afford it, then your subconscious has been faithfully compounding those deposits into experiences of scarcity, missed opportunities, and constant financial pressure. But the moment you begin to make a deliberate wealth shift, everything changes, because the subconscious does not argue with you. It accepts what your conscious mind decrees as true and sets about expressing it on the screen of space as conditions, events, and circumstances. Imagine your subconscious as an enormous vault, an inexhaustible treasure house connected directly to the infinite supply of the universe. It never sleeps, never tires, and never questions your instructions. It simply takes the dominant idea you feed it, backed by emotion and repetition, and multiplies it with incredible precision. Dr. Murphy often compared this process to a fertile field. Whatever you sow in thought and feeling, you will inevitably reap in your outer world. Plant seeds of poverty, and the field returns more poverty. Plant seeds of abundance, and the harvest becomes overflowing riches that flow to you freely, joyously, and ceaselessly. This is not wishful thinking or mere positive slogans. It is a fundamental law of mind. Your subconscious is the creative medium through which the infinite intelligence of life operates. It is the bridge between your conscious desires and the unlimited resources of the cosmos. When you truly understand this, you stop chasing money through sweat and strain alone and begin to command it through the quiet power of inner conviction. Consider how this universal bank functions in everyday life. You deposit an idea by dwelling on it mentally, by feeling its reality in your body, and by accepting it as already true. The subconscious then goes to work arranging people, opportunities, ideas, and events to bring that deposit into physical form. A person who constantly thinks money is hard to get, or there is never enough, is making regular withdrawals of limitation, and the bank honors those withdrawals by manifesting more bills, unexpected expenses, and blocked paths. Conversely, the individual who cultivates the feeling of wealth, who walks, talks, and feels as though supply is always available, deposits riches that compound rapidly. Murphy emphasized that wealth is ultimately a subconscious conviction. It is not the amount in your wallet today, but the inner state of knowing that you are one with the infinite riches of life that determines your financial reality. Let us explore this mechanism more deeply. The subconscious mind is impersonal and highly responsive to suggestion. It does not distinguish between what you call real and what you vividly imagine with faith. Whatever picture you hold in your conscious mind, especially when charged with emotion, sinks into the subconscious and becomes objectified. This is why some people seem to attract money effortlessly while others labor endlessly with little result. The difference is not luck or background, but the quality of deposits being made in the inner bank. One person deposits fear and doubt every time they check their bank balance or worry about the future. The other deposits confidence and gratitude by affirming that money circulates freely in their life and there is always a divine surplus. Over time, the second person's account grows because the subconscious magnifies the dominant feeling. Dr. Murphy taught that your thought is the immaterial and invisible power that chooses to bless or limit you. When you say to yourself with conviction, I like money, I love it, I use it wisely, constructively, and judiciously, you are making a powerful deposit. The subconscious accepts this as true and begins to draw opportunities where money flows toward you in avalanches of abundance. You start noticing new ideas, helpful connections, and inspired actions that were always there, but previously invisible because your mental deposits were clouded by lack. The universal bank does not create wealth out of nothing. It channels the infinite supply that already exists through the channel of your accepted beliefs. God, or the life principle within you, loves to express as harmony, peace, beauty, joy, and abundance. Your role is simply to align your mind with this truth and allow the flow. Picture the process like this. Every night before sleep, when the conscious mind relaxes and the subconscious becomes highly receptive, you have a golden opportunity to make massive deposits. Instead of replaying the day's worries or financial pressures, you can quietly impress the idea of wealth. Repeat with feeling, money is forever circulating freely in my life, and there is always a divine surplus. Feel the truth of it. Sense the relaxation and confidence that comes with knowing your needs are met at every moment in time and point in space. Do this regularly and systematically, not with mechanical repetition, but with living faith. The idea of wealth will sink deeper and deeper until it becomes a conditioned state of consciousness. Then, without forcing or straining, you will find yourself guided to right action, meeting the right people, and receiving unexpected income from sources you never anticipated. Many people unknowingly sabotage their own deposits. They affirm prosperity during the day, but feel lack at night. They celebrate others' success outwardly, but inwardly resent it, which is another deposit of limitation. The subconscious records every feeling. To build a wealthy consciousness, you must guard your mental bank account carefully. Give no one the power to deflect you from your goal. When negative thoughts arise, I can't afford that, or times are tough, immediately replace them with a better decree. I accept this in my mind now. Wealth flows to me freely. Your subconscious will then work to make the new thought manifest because it must express whatever is impressed upon it. This inner bank is connected to the one infinite source. Murphy reminded us that the tides never fail. Neither will your supply when you trust the tireless, changeless, immortal, omnipresent presence that flows ceaselessly. Birds of the air do not sow or reap, yet they are fed. You, with far greater capacity, are meant to live in even greater abundance. The subconscious mind is your direct telephone line to the cosmic treasury. When you impress it with the conviction that God is the source of your supply and all your needs are met, the outer world rearranges itself to reflect that inner truth. Opportunities appear, creative ideas surge forth, and money begins to circulate in your experience with ease and joy. Think of real-life examples where this principle has worked dramatically. A person burdened by debt begins to shift their deposits. Instead of focusing on the mounting bills, they quietly affirm daily that they are prospering every day, growing in wealth and wisdom every day. They feel the relief and gratitude as if the debt is already dissolving. Within weeks or months, new clients appear, a forgotten debt is forgiven, or an unexpected inheritance arrives, not through magic, but through the reliable response of the subconscious to the new dominant idea. Another individual visualizes success vividly before sleep, feeling the joy of financial freedom. The subconscious, acting as the obedient servant, inspires bold yet wise decisions that multiply income. These are not isolated miracles, they are the natural outcome of consistent, feeling-backed deposits in the universal bank. The beauty of this teaching is its simplicity and universality. You do not need special credentials, connections, or even large starting capital. You only need to master the art of impressing the right ideas. Wealth is a state of consciousness first. Subjectively possess riches in your mind, and you will objectively possess them in your world. The feeling of wealth produces wealth. Keep this in mind at all times. Your subconscious magnifies it, multiplies it, and returns it to you in tangible form as increased income, better opportunities, inspired creativity, and peaceful confidence that supply is always available. As you continue to deposit thoughts of abundance, you will notice subtle yet powerful changes. Worry about money decreases. Gratitude increases. You begin to see money as a positive, flowing energy rather than a scarce resource. You use it wisely and release it with joy, knowing it returns multiplied. This shift in consciousness is the true wealth shift, moving from surviving on whatever comes your way to thriving, because you command the inner forces that shape your outer reality. The universal bank never runs out. Its resources are infinite, and it responds perfectly to the quality of your deposits. Continue feeding it with conviction. See yourself as already living in the abundant life. Feel the freedom, the security, the joy that comes with knowing you are backed by infinite intelligence. Let every thought, every emotion, every quiet moment before sleep become a deliberate investment in prosperity. The more consistently you do this, the faster and more powerfully the manifestations appear, because the law is exact. Whatever you impress on your subconscious mind is expressed as your experience. Your inner bank is ready and waiting. Make the deposits of wealth consciousness today and watch as the returns compound beyond anything you once imagined possible. The riches are already within you. Unlock them now through the faithful, magnifying power of your subconscious mind. The shift from scarcity thinking to wealth consciousness represents one of the most profound transformations you can ever make in your life, and it begins entirely within the silent chambers of your mind. Scarcity thinking is that deep-seated mental habit where every financial decision feels heavy, every opportunity seems limited, and the constant inner voice whispers that there is never enough, not enough money, not enough time, not enough support, not enough luck. It manifests as worry when the bills arrive, anxiety when considering investments, resentment when seeing others succeed, and a subtle but persistent belief that prosperity is reserved for a fortunate few while the rest must scrape by through endless struggle. This mindset is not caused by external circumstances alone. It is the accumulated result of repeated thoughts, inherited beliefs, cultural conditioning, and emotional reactions that have been impressed upon your subconscious mind over years. sometimes decades. Dr. Joseph Murphy taught that your environment and financial condition are the perfect reflection of your habitual thinking. Thought rules the world, and when that thought is rooted in lack, the outer world obediently mirrors it back in the form of blocked opportunities, unexpected expenses, and a cycle of just getting by. Wealth consciousness, on the other hand, is the liberated state where you know, not just hope, but truly know that supply is infinite, that money circulates freely and joyously in your experience, and that you are one with the boundless riches of the universe. It is the inner conviction that abundance is your natural birthright, that God or infinite intelligence is the source of all supply, and that there is always a divine surplus available to you. In this state, you view money not as a scarce resource to hoard or fear, but as a flowing energy that comes to you easily when you align your mind with prosperity. Murphy emphasized that to him that hath the feeling of wealth, more wealth shall be added. To him that hath the feeling of lack, more lack shall be added. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer, not because of fate or unfair systems, but because of the cosmic law of attraction operating through the nature of your thought life. Those living in the consciousness of affluence and abundance draw wealth to themselves effortlessly, while those trapped in scarcity repel it unconsciously through their dominant mental atmosphere. Consider how scarcity thinking operates on a daily basis. You check your bank balance and immediately feel a contraction in your body, that tightening in the chest or stomach that signals danger. You see a desired item and think, I can't afford that, embedding the idea of limitation deeper into your subconscious. You hear about someone's financial success, and instead of celebrating, a quiet envy or justification arises. They must have had advantages I don't. These are not harmless passing thoughts. They are deposits in the universal bank of your subconscious mind, and the subconscious magnifies whatever is impressed upon it. It does not argue or judge. It simply accepts your dominant feelings as instructions and sets about creating corresponding conditions. Over time, this builds a poverty-type mind that finds itself in poverty-stricken conditions, surrounded by struggle, even when external chances for improvement appear. Murphy often pointed out that poverty is ultimately a mental disease, a conditioned state that can and should be abolished through right thinking. The transition to wealth consciousness requires you to deliberately uproot these old patterns and replace them with new, life-giving ones. It is not about denying current financial realities or pretending problems do not exist. Rather, it is about refusing to let those realities define your inner state. You begin by becoming aware of your automatic thoughts around money. Notice how often you use phrases like, money is tight, times are hard, I never have enough, or rich people are greedy. Each of these is a suggestion that sinks into the subconscious and reproduces itself in experience. To shift, you consciously choose better thoughts. You affirm with conviction, money flows to me freely, copiously, and endlessly. You repeat it not mechanically, but with feeling, knowing that your deeper mind is responsive to what you accept as true. Busy your mind with the concepts of harmony, health, peace, goodwill, success, wealth, and happiness. Identify yourself mentally, emotionally, and pictorially with these ideas until they become a conditioned state of consciousness. One powerful way to make this shift is to examine and release limiting beliefs that have been programmed into you since childhood. Many people carry the idea that money is the root of all evil, or that to be spiritual one must be poor, or that hard work and suffering are the only virtuous paths to success. Murphy countered this by teaching that it is your right to be rich, happy, and successful. There is no virtue in poverty. In fact, trying to accumulate wealth solely by the sweat of your brow and hard labor is one sure way to become the richest person in the graveyard. You do not have to strive or slave. Instead, you align with the infinite intelligence within you that knows how to bring riches without unnecessary struggle. Replace fear and doubt, two of the greatest obstacles to attracting money, with confidence and trust. When doubt arises, gently but firmly return to the truth. God is the source of my supply. His riches flow to me freely, copiously, and abundantly. All my needs are met at every moment in time and point in space. There is always a divine surplus. Visualization plays a crucial role in this transformation. Take time each day, especially before sleep when the subconscious is highly receptive, to picture yourself living in the abundant state you desire. See yourself handling large sums of money with ease and joy. Feel the freedom, the security, the excitement of financial independence. Imagine writing checks for causes you care about, traveling to places you love, or providing generously for your family, all while knowing there is always more coming in. Do not force the images with willpower. Let them come alive with natural emotion. The feeling of wealth produces wealth. As you lull yourself to sleep with the word wealth, or the affirmation, money is forever circulating freely in my life, and there is always a divine surplus. You impress this idea deeply. The subconscious then works through the night and into the coming days, attracting the people, ideas, and circumstances that match your new inner atmosphere. Another essential aspect of moving from scarcity to wealth consciousness is practicing gratitude and celebration of others' success. Scarcity thinking breeds comparison and resentment, which only reinforces lack. Wealth consciousness celebrates abundance wherever it appears because it recognizes that the same infinite supply is available to all. When you genuinely rejoice in another person's prosperity, you affirm that there is plenty for everyone, including you. This removes mental blocks and opens the channel for your own good to flow. Murphy advised giving no one the power to deflect you from your goal of prosperity. Guard your mental bank account. If negative news or pessimistic conversations arise, quietly withdraw your attention and redirect it to thoughts of abundance. Your environment will begin to change as your habitual thinking changes. The law at work here is exact and impersonal. The subconscious mind is ruled by suggestion, and it fulfills your wishes according to the nature of your thought life. If you habitually dwell on limitation, you instruct it to generate more scarcity. When you cultivate confidence, trust, and gratitude, you instruct it to generate opportunities and increase. Infinite riches are all around you if you will open your mental eyes and behold the treasure house of infinity within you. There is a gold mine within you from which you can extract everything you need to live life gloriously, joyously, and abundantly. The shift is not a one-time event, but a daily practice of choosing wealth-oriented thoughts over scarcity-oriented ones until the new pattern becomes automatic. As this consciousness strengthens, you will notice tangible signs. Worry about money diminishes. Creative ideas for increasing income begin to flow naturally. You attract better opportunities without forcing them. Money starts coming from expected and unexpected sources because you have removed the inner resistance that once blocked the flow. You use money wisely and release it with joy, knowing it returns multiplied. This is the true wealth shift, moving from surviving in a world of not enough to thriving in a world of infinite supply, your financial condition becomes the perfect reflection of your new dominant mindset. Continue this process with persistence and faith. Do not look to outward conditions for proof. The proof comes as you persist in the new consciousness. Even if current circumstances still reflect old thinking, hold firmly to the idea that wealth is now becoming your reality. The subconscious mind has no sense of time. It responds to the intensity and repetition of your impressions. Keep your conscious mind busy with the expectation of the best. Choose to believe that something good is happening now. Choose abundance as a habit. The more you do this, the more powerfully your outer world rearranges itself to match the riches you have already subjectively claimed within. This transformation liberates you from the prison of scarcity thinking and opens the gates to a life where prosperity flows naturally. You begin to see money as a friend, a tool for good, a circulating energy that blesses everyone it touches when used constructively. You stop competing and start creating. You stop hoarding mentally and start circulating freely. Wealth consciousness is not about greed or materialism. It is about recognizing your oneness with the infinite abundance of life and allowing that abundance to express through you in harmonious, joyful ways. As you impress these truths deeper and deeper, the old scarcity patterns dissolve and a new, radiant state of prosperity takes their place, shaping every area of your experience with ease and grace. Impressing the idea of God's infinite riches daily is the deliberate, conscious act of saturating your subconscious mind with the absolute truth that unlimited supply flows from the divine source within you at every moment. Dr. Joseph Murphy taught that God, or infinite intelligence, is the eternal wellspring of all wealth, and your role is to write this magnificent idea deeply into the receptive soil of your deeper mind through consistent, feeling-charged repetition. This is not occasional wishing or vague hope. It is a disciplined spiritual practice where you take the concept of boundless prosperity and impress it upon your subconscious until it becomes your dominant conviction. Every day, without fail, you feed your inner mind the truth: God is the source of my supply. His riches flow to me freely, copiously, and abundantly. All my needs are met at every moment of time and point in space. There is always a divine surplus. These words, when repeated with quiet faith and emotional acceptance, sink like golden seeds into fertile ground and begin to grow into tangible manifestations of money, opportunities, creative ideas, and effortless increase. The subconscious mind responds best to systematic impression. Morning and evening become sacred windows for this practice because the conscious mind is either fresh or relaxed, allowing suggestions to penetrate more easily. In the morning, as you awaken, before the noise of the day intrudes, you can quietly affirm, I am now writing in my subconscious mind the idea of God's wealth. God is the source of my supply, and all my needs are met at every moment of time and point of space. God's wealth flows freely, joyously, and ceaselessly into my experience, and I give thanks for God's riches forever circulating in my experience. Speak these words slowly, lovingly, and with conviction. Feel the reality behind them. Sense the relaxation that comes when you truly accept that infinite intelligence is arranging everything for your highest good. Do not rush or strain. Let the words vibrate through your being until a quiet inner knowing arises that the impression is being registered. Throughout the day, whenever your thoughts drift toward worry, bills, or limitation, you gently bring them back to this central truth. You do not fight negative thoughts. You simply withdraw attention from them and redirect it to the presence of God's infinite riches. Murphy explained that the practice of the presence of God is one of the most powerful ways to transform life, no matter what you are doing, walking, working, shopping, or resting. You can silently contemplate the divine supply flowing through you. This constant return to the idea keeps the impression fresh and strong. Your subconscious never sleeps. It continues working on whatever you have impressed upon it. By maintaining this mental atmosphere during waking hours, you ensure that the idea of infinite riches gains momentum and begins to objectify itself in your outer world. In the evening, as you prepare for sleep, the subconscious becomes even more receptive. The body relaxes, the conscious mind quiets, and suggestions drop effortlessly into deeper layers. This is the ideal time to impress the idea once more. Lie comfortably, close your eyes, and repeat the affirmation with deep feeling. Visualize yourself surrounded by abundance. See money flowing in from multiple channels. Feel the joy of financial freedom, the peace of knowing your needs are always supplied, the gratitude for the ceaseless circulation of God's riches. Lull yourself to sleep while holding the thought, God's wealth flows freely, joyously, and ceaselessly. Murphy often recommended drowsy, sleepy state impressions because in that borderland between waking and sleeping, the subconscious accepts ideas without resistance or argument. The last dominant thought of the night becomes a powerful command that the inner mind obeys throughout the hours of rest. This daily impression works because the subconscious mind is a faithful servant that magnifies whatever is planted in it. When you impress the idea of God's infinite riches repeatedly, it begins to erase old patterns of lack and replaces them with a new consciousness of plenty. Old fears about money lose their grip. Doubt gives way to quiet confidence. You start noticing synchronicities, unexpected checks, new clients, inspired ideas for income, generous opportunities, all because your mental atmosphere has shifted. The infinite intelligence within you knows no limitation. It responds perfectly when you align with it through this practice. God's riches are not somewhere far away. They are omnipresent, waiting to express through the channel of your accepted beliefs. By impressing this truth daily, you open that channel wider and wider. Consider how this practice differs from sporadic positive thinking. Many people try affirmations once or twice and then return to old habits of worry. The key Murphy stressed is consistency and emotion. Mechanical repetition has limited power. It is the feeling of acceptance that drives the impression deep. When you say, God is the source of my supply, do not merely speak the words. Feel the truth of them in your heart. Feel the security, the freedom, the joy that comes with knowing supply is infinite and always available. This emotional charge is what makes the idea stick and grow. Over days and weeks, the repeated impression builds a subconscious conviction so strong that your actions, decisions, and outer conditions begin to harmonize with it automatically. You no longer chase prosperity through frantic effort. Instead, you allow it to unfold naturally as the inner idea expresses itself outwardly. Daily impression also involves guarding the gateway of your mind. Refuse to entertain thoughts or conversations that contradict God's infinite riches. When someone speaks of hard times or economic scarcity, you can silently affirm the opposite within yourself without engaging in argument. Your mental diet must support the idea you are impressing. Fill your awareness with thoughts of abundance, success stories of others who have applied these principles, and gratitude for the supply already present in your life. Even small evidences of good, a kind gesture, an unexpected discount, a helpful idea become reasons to give thanks and strengthen the impression. Gratitude is a powerful multiplier. When you thank God for the riches that are forever circulating, you open yourself to even greater flow. Murphy taught that giving thanks before the manifestation appears is one of the surest ways to impress the subconscious positively. The idea of God's infinite riches encompasses far more than material money. It includes creative ideas, vital energy, loving relationships, perfect health, and inspired guidance, all forms of true wealth. When you impress this broad concept daily, your life becomes rich in every dimension. You may receive a brilliant business idea that leads to increased income. You may feel renewed energy that allows you to accomplish more with ease. You may attract harmonious people who support your growth. All of this flows from the same divine source when you keep the channel clear through daily practice. Infinite intelligence knows the best way to deliver your good. Your job is simply to impress the idea faithfully and trust the perfect unfolding. As you continue this daily discipline, subtle yet profound changes occur. Anxiety about the future diminishes because you know at a deep level that all needs are met. Decision making becomes clearer because you are guided by the inner wisdom that accompanies the awareness of infinite supply. Opportunities that once seemed invisible now appear obvious. Money begins to circulate more freely because you have removed the inner blocks of doubt and fear. You start using money with wisdom and joy, releasing it confidently, knowing it returns multiplied. This is the natural result of impressing God's riches daily. The subconscious magnifies the dominant idea until it dominates your experience. The practice is simple enough for anyone to follow, yet powerful enough to transform the poorest consciousness into one of overflowing abundance. You do not need special rituals or long hours of meditation. A few focused minutes in the morning, conscious redirection during the day, and peaceful impressions at night are sufficient when done with sincerity and feeling. Murphy shared countless stories of people who applied this method and saw dramatic improvements, debts dissolved, income multiplied, businesses flourished, all because they persistently impressed the idea of God's infinite riches upon their subconscious minds. The law is impersonal and exact. What you impress, you express. Daily consistency ensures that the impression grows stronger than any previous patterns of limitation. Make this practice a living part of your being. Let every breath become a reminder of the divine supply flowing through you. When challenges arise, instead of panicking, return immediately to the central truth and impress it even more deeply. The more you do this, the faster the outer world conforms to your inner conviction. Infinite riches are all around you if you will open your mental eyes and behold the treasure house of infinity within. There is a gold mine inside you from which you can extract everything needed to live gloriously, joyously, and abundantly. By impressing the idea of God's infinite riches daily, you claim that gold mine and allow its treasures to pour forth into every area of your life in ever-increasing measure. The divine presence within responds instantly when you align with it through this faithful daily discipline. Keep impressing the magnificent truth and watch as God's wealth flows freely, joyously, and ceaselessly into your experience, shaping a reality of boundless prosperity that reflects the infinite nature of the source itself. Feeling the feeling of wealth to manifest, it is the living heart of Dr. Joseph Murphy's teaching on prosperity, the vital spark that turns mental concepts into tangible riches, because the subconscious mind responds not merely to words, but to the emotional tone and inner conviction you generate. The feeling of wealth produces wealth. Keep this in mind at all times. Your subconscious is like a faithful servant that magnifies and externalizes whatever mood or emotional state you sustain within yourself. When you genuinely feel wealthy, when you embody the relaxed confidence, the quiet joy, the sense of freedom and security that accompanies true abundance, you impress that state deeply into the creative medium of your deeper mind, and it must objectify itself as increased income, unexpected opportunities, inspired ideas, and effortless circulation of money in your experience. This is not pretending or surface level positivity. It is a scientific use of the law of mind, where the dominant feeling becomes the blueprint that shapes your outer world. To feel the feeling of wealth, you must first understand that wealth is fundamentally a state of consciousness rather than a pile of currency in the bank. Murphy repeatedly emphasized that you will not become a millionaire simply by repeating, "I am rich," if that statement clashes with your current emotional reality of lack. The subconscious accepts the dominant feeling. If fear or doubt is stronger, when you affirm prosperity, the feeling of lack wins and more scarcity appears. Therefore, the intelligent approach is to cultivate feelings that both your conscious and subconscious can agree upon without resistance. Begin with gentle, believable impressions such as, "I am prospering every day," "My wealth is growing and multiplying every day," or "I am advancing financially in wonderful ways." These statements do not provoke inner contradiction. Instead, they allow a natural emotional tone of confidence and quiet expectancy to arise. As you repeat them with sincerity, a subtle but real feeling of relief and expansion begins to build inside you. That is the feeling of wealth taking root. One of the most effective times to generate and sustain this feeling is in the drowsy, relaxed state just before sleep, as the body grows still and the conscious mind softens its grip. The subconscious becomes highly impressionable, like soft clay ready to receive your mold. Lie comfortably, close your eyes, and quietly, easily, and feelingly repeat the single word, wealth, over and over again, almost like a soothing lullaby. Do not strain or force the emotion. Simply allow the word to evoke a natural sense of ease, security, and joyous freedom. Imagine, in a relaxed way, what it feels like to have more than enough, the lightness in your step when bills are paid with pleasure, the smile that comes when you can generously support causes you care about, the peaceful sleep that belongs to someone who knows supply flows ceaselessly. Pour life, love, and genuine feeling into this inner experience. Murphy taught that in this borderland state, the idea sinks deep and the subconscious works through the night to bring corresponding conditions into your waking life. During the day, practice entering the feeling of wealth through brief, conscious moments of scientific imagination. Find a quiet spot, relax your body completely, and mentally picture yourself living the abundant life you desire. See yourself handling money with ease and joy. Feel the texture of checks or notes in your hands. Hear yourself speaking words of gratitude for the constant flow. Most importantly, generate the actual bodily sensation of wealth, the relaxed shoulders, the open chest, the warm glow of confidence that says, "All is well, supply is here now." Do not visualize distant future scenes that feel unreal. Bring the feeling into the present moment. Identify yourself mentally, emotionally, and pictorially with wealth until it becomes a conditioned state. The subconscious does not distinguish between a vividly felt imagination and an actual external event. What you feel is true within, it will express without. This practice requires consistency because feelings, like thoughts, are habitual. If you indulge in the feeling of lack when checking your balance or worrying about the future, you cancel out the good impressions. Whenever a negative emotion arises, gently withdraw your attention from it and return to the feeling of wealth. Replace the contraction of fear with the expansion of trust. Murphy advised that you busy your mind with the concepts of harmony, success, wealth, and happiness. Whenever you see something beautiful or desirable, instead of thinking, "I can't afford that," silently affirm, "I accept that," in divine timing through divine love, and allow yourself to feel the pleasure of already enjoying it in consciousness. This small act keeps the feeling of wealth alive and prevents the subconscious from registering lack. The feeling of wealth is closely tied to gratitude and the circulation of money. When you feel wealthy, you naturally release money with joy because you know it returns multiplied. Hoarding mentally or emotionally blocks the flow. Murphy explained that money is an idea in the mind and a symbol of the infinite supply. When you feel abundant, you bless the money you spend, seeing it as a vehicle for good that blesses others and returns to you in greater measure. Practice this by paying bills with a sense of gratitude rather than resentment. Feel the satisfaction of contribution. This emotional tone impresses the subconscious with the idea of ceaseless circulation and divine surplus. Money is forever circulating freely in my life, and there is always a divine surplus. Repeat this with deep feeling and let the accompanying emotion of security and generosity sink in. Many people struggle initially because they try to force a dramatic feeling of being a millionaire when their current reality feels far removed. This creates inner conflict. Begin where you are. Feel the improvement. Feel the gradual increase. Feel the quiet confidence that things are moving in the right direction. As small evidences appear, an unexpected refund, a new client, a helpful idea. Amplify the feeling of wealth by giving sincere thanks and allowing genuine joy to fill you. Each moment of authentic positive feeling strengthens the impression. Over time, the feeling grows from a faint sense of hope into a deep, unshakable conviction of abundance. When that happens, the manifestations accelerate because the subconscious now has a clear, dominant emotional command to fulfill. Visualization combined with feeling is particularly powerful. Sit quietly, relax, and construct a mental movie in which you are already living prosperously. Make it vivid but natural. Feel the emotions that would naturally arise in that state. Pride in your achievements, peace about the future, excitement about new possibilities, warmth in sharing your good with others. Do not watch the movie as a distant observer. Step into it and feel it as your present reality. Murphy shared examples of people who used this method successfully. A singer who felt the thrill of performing before large audiences and receiving contracts. A businessman who felt the relief and satisfaction of financial turnaround. In each case, the sustained feeling, not mere daydreaming, produced the outer result because the subconscious accepted the emotional state as true and worked tirelessly to objectify it. Guard your feeling nature carefully. The subconscious magnifies whatever mood you entertain most frequently. Avoid prolonged discussions of hardship, economic woes, or personal financial struggles, as these generate the feeling of lack and reproduce it. Instead, cultivate an atmosphere of expectancy and quiet joy. Even when outer conditions have not yet changed, hold the feeling that something wonderful is happening now. Choose to feel wealthy in consciousness long before the bank account reflects it. This is faith in action, the substance of things hoped for. Your feeling is the substance that molds the clay of circumstance. As you persist in feeling the feeling of wealth, subtle shifts occur first in your inner world and then in the outer. Worry loses its grip. Creative ideas flow more freely because a relaxed, abundant mind is fertile ground for inspiration. You notice opportunities that previously passed unseen. People respond to your new confident energy. Money begins to appear through expected and unexpected channels because the inner state of wealth has become your dominant vibration. You use money wisely and joyfully, knowing it is a tool for expressing life more fully. This is the true manifestation process according to Murphy. The feeling of wealth produces wealth because the law of mind is exact. What you feel deeply and consistently within, you experience without. Continue nourishing this feeling daily through relaxed affirmation, scientific imagination, gratitude, and conscious redirection of attention. Let every breath support the inner knowing that you are one with infinite supply. Feel the security of divine backing. Feel the freedom that comes with knowing your needs are met at every moment. Feel the joy of abundance circulating through your life, blessing you and others. The more alive and real this feeling becomes, the faster and more powerfully your subconscious mind arranges conditions, events, and circumstances that match it. Wealth is a subconscious conviction, and that conviction is built and sustained through the repeated generation of the actual feeling of being wealthy now. Keep this principle alive in your awareness at all times and allow the magnificent creative power within you to bring forth riches in perfect harmony with your inner state. The feeling you cultivate today is shaping the financial reality you will live tomorrow and beyond, because the subconscious never fails to express the dominant emotional atmosphere you maintain.